So we got the Eagles versus the Giants, or I should say Giants at Eagles, because this is a Thursday night football game at Lincoln Financial Field where the Giants have struggled. We have lost 11 of our last 12 games at Lincoln Financial Field, and we have lost 7 straight games to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a game right here that's going to be very interesting. Real quick before I get into the rest of the preview, I just want to say, because it is a short week, and because of my classes and whatnot, this won't be a heavily edited video. It's going to be very simply edited. You know what, so just sit back, relax, and listen to this episode rather than watch it, I guess would be my suggestion. But let's get right into it. Now, I'm not really going to go over the Washington game too much. If you want to have my thoughts on that, I already have videos out on it. Let's talk about the injury reports for these teams right here, because this is the first time that the Giants are probably equally as injured as the Philadelphia Eagles. Although I will say on the official injury report, the Eagles have a lot more players listed. Let's go over to Giants first. They have wide receiver CJ Board out with a concussion, and he is out for Thursday. Defensive back Adrian Colbert out with a shoulder. He's out for Thursday. Linebacker Tay Crowder out with a hamstring. He's out for Thursday. Darnay Holmes with a neck injury. He is currently, there's no status listed on his game status. There's no questionable, there's no out, there's no in. So he may be either a late game active or a late game inactive. It is worthy to note though, I'm pretty sure Darnay Holmes did not start last game, and that wasn't because of his performance issues. That was because of, health issues. Wide receiver Darius Slayton, foot injury. He's questionable for Thursday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It is currently 3:22 p.m. on Wednesday when I'm recording this, and Darius Slayton is questionable for tomorrow on Thursday. I'm going to get into that in a second. Dion Lewis, running back, hand injury. There's nothing listed for him either. We need Darius Slayton to play, bro. We need wide receivers, because the Giants, as of right now, haven't really signed any other wide receivers. They haven't elevated any wide receivers off the practice squad, and I'm not even sure how that will work. Even if they did elevate somebody, what's the COVID-19 protocol? Will they be allowed to play on Thursday? Because remember when we elevated Austin Mack, it took a whole week before he was allowed to play. And then the same thing with Jabal Shurd, the free agent that we signed off of Jacksonville's practice squad. He won't be able to play this Thursday because of COVID-19 protocols, but he'll be available next week. It kind of makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. But we haven't even tried to sign any wide receivers. As of right now, we have our 2 wide receivers deep for this game tomorrow in Austin Mack and Golden Tate, because Darius Slayton is questionable. We all know Sterling Shepard is questionable, even though he's not listed here. They say he's on track. He needs to at the very least play in a game by November 10th, or he's going to be on permanent injury reserve until the end of the season. But there's no news on Sterling Shepard yet as to whether or not he's participating. Of course, you just saw there CJ Board is out. Those are our 5 wide receivers. 3 of them are injured. Or I should say 2 of them are injured. 1 of them is questionable. We only have 2 available. I don't know what's going to happen. That's extremely, extremely, extremely worrying. We need these guys to come clean, man. Same goes for Dion Lewis. Now, Tay Crowder and CJ Board, the guys that are listed out, they're just out. There's nothing you can do about it. Holmes, I hope he can make it back this game. Maybe add a little bit to that secondary going up against this weak Eagles wide receiving core. Still, though, as the Eagles, we need all the help that we can get, because they always know how to play us. It's always a close game. Dion Lewis now, I would like for him to come clean. I would like for him to, be able to play tomorrow. He's not necessary. But when I'm thinking about it, if we're really about to roll in this game with 2 wide receivers, which I don't even know if it's legal to do that in the NFL, I hope there's a rule that says you need at least 3. Dion Lewis is going to be somebody that we're going to use in the slot a lot, just like Wayne Gallman is going to be somebody we use in the slot a lot, just like Devontae Freeman and Evan Ingram. We're going to be using our other positions in the slot to make up for the lack of wide receiver and weapons. And then on the Eagles side, their injury report, Jesus Christ, it's massive. This is going to take a while for me to read out, but here we go. Jack Driscoll, tackle, ankle injury, out. Zach Ertz, tight end, ankle injury, there's nothing there. Marcus Epps, safety, rib injury, there's nothing there. Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver, hamstring, there's nothing there. Malik Jackson, defensive tackle, quadricep injury, he's out. Alshon Jeffrey, wide receiver, calf injury, he's out. Lane Johnson, tackle, ankle injury, nothing there. Avonte Maddox, cornerback, ankle injury, nothing there. Duke Riley, linebacker, rib injury, nothing there. Miles Sanders, running back, knee injury, out. Kevon Wallace, safety, shoulder injury, out. Now, of the other guys here that have nothing next to their name that I expect to be out, I'm going to throw in Zach Ertz, and maybe Lane Johnson, because Zach Ertz and Lane Johnson did not play last game on this past Sunday either, and I would find it hard to believe that they recovered in just 4 days. But the Eagles, once again, just as banged up as us, if not more. Remember, there's a ton of Giants names that isn't on the injury report, such as Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane Zimenez, Saquon Barkley. We got names that aren't on that list either. But the Eagles are quite banged up. So let's talk about how we need to be able to take advantage of this, because honestly, the team that wins this game, and I'm not as confident as some other Giants fans that are like really confident that we're going to beat the Eagles because of the fact that they are more injured than us and they're missing more key players than us. Because here's why. The Eagles, no matter what, always find a way to beat us. It's why we've lost 7 straight games to them. Whether it's coaching, whether it's adjustments, whatever the case is, they find a way to beat us. And speaking of adjustments, when it comes to injuries, the Eagles have been one of the best teams in the league at that over the past 4 years that Doug Peterson has been there. 2017, of course, their best year ever of doing that, because they went into the Super Bowl because of their great depth. That was what that 2017 Eagles team was known for, the main one being quarterback injury. 2018, 2019, they made the playoffs both years. They weren't supposed to because of their injuries, but they made good adjustments. They're off to a rougher start this year, as is the whole NFC East. But this is an Eagle team, once again, that really doesn't miss a step in terms of how they're supposed to perform when they got some backups in there. And let's keep it real, Eagles backups have killed the Giants before. Just last year, Boston Scott, their backup running back, who I'm pretty sure is going to fill in for Miles Sanders, absolutely killed the Giants last year, and I pray to God that he doesn't do that again. So to be truthfully honest with you guys, I'm more worried about how the Giants are going to fill in our own injuries. Now, with middle linebacker Tay Crowder out, David Mayo, I'm pretty sure, is going to be filling in that spot. I hope he can do fine. The thing that he cannot replace that Tay Crowder had is that flat out Crowder was a better, pass defender than Mayo was. So a little bit more of that pass defense is going to be shouldered by Blake Martinez. Hopefully, the duo of Mayo and Martinez can somewhat hold it down. And more than anything, they should produce in the run game and hold down the guy I mentioned, Boston Scott. When it comes to the wide receivers, I'm honestly lost. They can do what I mentioned before with the running backs and tight ends, but I would honestly be comfortable if we find some way to supplement actual wide receivers in there. And of course, with the secondary, I would like to have everybody there, but it's not really necessary against this Eagles team, whose best receiver right now is Travis Fulgham or something, I think his name is, off of the Detroit Lions practice squad. I think the Eagles signed him. He's kind of been exploding the past 2 weeks. He's emerging as their current number one, in light of the situation. I fully believe James Bradbury, best cornerback in the league, at the very least the best man-to-man cornerback in the league, can hold down Travis Fulgham. Here's the thing now, Carson Wentz will look to other weapons, which is where guys like Ryan Lewis come in, guys like Logan Ryan come in. If Darnay Holmes is clear to play, he comes in. The safeties, whoever we have starting as safeties out there, Jabril and whoever else, that's where they come in. They're going to have to do their job, and they're going to have to take care of the other wide receivers, because we know Bradbury is going to take care of his. The defensive line has to get pressure on Wentz and the outside linebackers as well. Once again, their only starting offensive lineman is Jason Kelce. If we don't get any type of pressures or sacks on Carson Wentz, we're losing this game, and I lose faith in our pass rushing ability. We're very average in pass rushing right now. In terms of pressures, I think we're around 10th or 11th. In terms of sacks, we are 11th. So it's not like we're terrible. We're actually better than I expected. We should be able to take advantage of a backup tackle, two backup tackles actually, two backup guards, one of them who was former Giant Jamon Brown, who's been doing terrible since he left the Giants. Last week against the Ravens, this dude was mid-play, and he stopped mid-play to adjust his glove. That's how bad the O-line situation is right now for Philly. And if we don't get sacks and don't get pressures, we deserve to lose the game. Honestly, I really do mean that. If Leonard Williams or one of those other defensive linemen doesn't go off, if Marcus Golden and Kyler Fackrell don't go off, we have a problem. And if they do, we're going to win this game, because you're going to force Carson Wentz to make mistakes. You're going to force him to throw it in traffic. You're going to force him to, be taken advantage of by Bradbury and Martinez. And you're going to force them to try and run the ball. And our run defense is improved from last year. Our run defense, I think, is somewhere around 13th in the league right now. They should be able to take care of Boston Scott. And the same thing I said about with the pressures in Carson Wentz. If we can't stop Boston Scott, then we deserve to lose this game. That's how I view it. Now, when it comes to our offensive side, it gets a bit more dicey. Because just like how the Eagles have a weak O-line, they have a strong D-line. Similar to how we have a weak O-line and we have a strong D-line. Except the Eagles' defensive line, numbers-wise, is way better than the Giants. They're They're currently 4th in the league in sacks. Well, let me read this off. I think it's 21 sacks. And then in terms of the pressure numbers, they're right behind the Giants at 10th or 11th. The defensive line, pass rushing wise, is very, very strong. We're going to have to watch out for not only Fletcher Cox, but the guys they got coming off the edge. In fact, Fletcher Cox has been kind of quiet this year. It's been Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat leading the way off the edge for the Eagles in terms of their sacks. So our tackles are gonna be, I won't say in trouble, they're gonna be tested though. They're gonna be heavily tested. And you know the inside of our line, which in my opinion has been improving steadily, but still is weaker than the outside, they're gonna be tested by Fletcher Cox and the boys on the inside. Speaking of our tackles, why in the world haven't we started both Peart and Thomas? At this point, I don't care what side they play on, but they're a good tackle duo. You need to get them out there, and it's better than Peart and Fleming and better than Thomas and Fleming. Start Peart and Thomas. I don't care which side they're on, because either way, I believe there are 2 future franchise tackles. Now, I think you should give Thomas, the rest of the season at left tackle, but if they put him at right and slide Peart in at left, I honestly don't got a problem. We need to start them, and I only have confidence in them having some sort of success against Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat, who have, as I said, honestly been kind of killing it this season so far. So the Giants O-line needs to not only protect Daniel Jones, who I'll get to in a second, but they need to make some running lanes, just like they did early on in the game against Washington. And I will say this, I think Washington has a better defensive line than the Eagles. So we handled Washington's defensive line. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to handle the Eagles' defensive line. Once again, I'm worried because this is a team that's beaten us 7 times in a row. I have good reason to be. Right, we need to make sure that Devontae Freeman has an easy time running, and the run game has been steady the past 2 weeks. Keep it going, keep giving him good run lanes, because we see that he's getting better and better. He had multiple 9-yard runs last week. Get Wayne Gallman involved a little bit more. Jason Garrett, whether it's in the pass game or the run game, I didn't like that I barely saw him last week. He's a great compliment to Freeman, comes in with the fresh legs, kind of that slasher back. And then in the passing game, I honestly don't know. I don't even know, man. I might give Jason Garrett a pass this week if he struggles with the passing game, because once again, who is Daniel Jones throwing to? It's hopefully Evan Ingram can show up, because we all know that the Eagles middle linebackers, here's the thing, similar to Washington, the only good part of their defense right now is the defensive line. Their middle linebacking core is definitely the weakest part, and their secondary, in my opinion, is one of the weakest in the NFL. But they do have one player there in Darius Slay, who's simultaneously both underrated and overrated, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people, particularly Eagles fans, overrate him, but then I feel like everybody else underrates him. He's a good corner, you know what I'm saying? He's a smart corner. Whoever he's matched up against, most likely Darius Slayton. If that matchup comes to be, if Slayton plays, I think I'll have Slayton in there. I think he could get free a little bit. He last year kind of looked like a little bit of an Eagle killer, but that's probably the only player they got in the secondary. The middle linebacking core is extremely weak. So you know what, Jason Garrett, here's the blueprint. Attack the middle linebacking core by using your tight ends and maybe your running backs. Use Caden Smith, use Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, you better show up, you better catch the goddamn football, man, because he's gonna be the way that we beat these Eagles team. This is Evan Ingram's chance right here, and once again, Daniel Jones' chance to show that they're not done. Evan Ingram more so than DJ, in my opinion, because he's in his 4th, 5th year. This is your opportunity to show that you're one of the best tight ends in the league right here. You're going up against the weakest middle linebacking core in probably the entire NFL, if not one of the weakest, and you should be able to take advantage of them and go off 100-yard type of game. I'm not predicting that because it's Evan Ingram. We've seen that how inconsistent this guy can be. And then with Daniel Jones, don't make stupid mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Every week it seems like there's one stupid mistake he makes. Thankfully, it seems to be decreasing a little bit. Hopefully, it's just going to be so weird because he has literally nobody to throw to, but he's going to have to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? Use that brain of his. Figure something out. Use your tight ends. Use your running backs. That goes hand in hand with Jason Garrett. And if we win this game, it's because we honestly win the battle of the trenches on both sides of the ball. Our defensive line is getting the Carson because of the weak Philly O-line, and our O-line can hold up blocks just a little bit so Daniel could get the ball out and block for Devontae Freeman. That's my thoughts on the game. Put your thoughts down below. My final prediction is that the Eagles do win. I'm praying to God that they prove me wrong in the Giants win, though. I ain't really got a score. That's it for now. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.